What if the secret to unbreakable confidence was not thinking positive, but staring your deepest fears right in the face? Before we begin, if you are tired of being a prisoner to your own thoughts and want practical, no-nonsense strategies to build a fortress-like mind, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. We are all about turning ancient wisdom into modern power. I want you to imagine something for a second. Everything you are working for, everything you are anxious about protecting, your career, your relationships, your reputation, imagine it all goes wrong. And not just a little wrong. I mean catastrophically wrong. Now, modern advice tells us to banish those thoughts, right? To visualize success, manifest victory, and live in a state of never-ending optimism. But what happens when that relentless positivity is just a fragile mask, ready to shatter at the first sign of real trouble? What happens when you feel like a failure, just for feeling fear? The ancient Stoics, these were philosophers who walked the halls of power in imperial Rome, who faced down plagues, political chaos, and exile. They had a much more powerful strategy. And it might sound a little crazy, they did not run from the darkness. They chose to walk right into it. In this video, I'm going to show you the ancient practice, premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization. This is the Stoic secret to turning your anxiety from a source of crippling dread into a source of strength, preparation, and a truly invincible kind of confidence that no misfortune can even touch. Stick with me, and you will learn more than a mental trick. You will learn a profound shift in perspective that has been battle-tested for over 2,000 years. 1. The tyranny of positive thinking. In our world today, we are sold one prescription for a happy life: think positive. We are told to curate our thoughts like a social media feed. Only the bright, shiny, and optimistic are allowed. We are flooded with phrases like, good vibes only, manifest your dreams, and just be positive. The self-help industry, a multi-billion-dollar giant, is built almost entirely on this one simple idea, that you can think your way to a better life. And look, sometimes that can be a helpful nudge. But for a lot of us, this constant pressure to be positive becomes its own kind of tyranny. It creates this quiet, nagging shame whenever a negative thought pops into our heads. When you are anxious about a big presentation, worried about money, or grieving a loss, hearing someone say, just look on the bright side, does not just feel dismissive, it can feel cruel. It implies that your negative feelings are a personal failing, a lack of mental discipline. This is the subtle poison of toxic positivity. It denies our reality. It tells us to suppress emotions that are not only genuine but valid, and suppressed emotions do not just vanish, they fester. They grow in the dark, turning manageable worries into these huge, shapeless monsters. That vague anxiety that something might go wrong at work becomes a paralyzing dread that follows you everywhere. The fear of losing a relationship becomes a constant, gnawing insecurity that ends up poisoning the very connection you are trying to protect. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher who was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, knew this. He famously said that we often suffer more in our imagination than in reality. But he was not saying we should ignore our imagination. He understood that a mind that only ever expects sunshine is completely unprepared for the storm that will inevitably come. The problem with only visualizing the positive is that it leaves you fragile. Your confidence is built on the hope that nothing bad will ever happen. But life is not like that, is it? Projects fail. People leave. Sickness arrives. And when your only tool is to think positive, the first real negative event can make your entire world collapse. So the Stoics asked a different question. What if, instead of building a fragile shield of optimism, we trained ourselves to be so strong that we did not need a shield at all? What if we stopped running from the darkness and chose to face it, on our own terms, in a controlled way, to strip it of its power? This is not pessimism. This is strategic preparation. This is the foundation of premeditatio malorum. 2. The Stoic Cure, an introduction to premeditatio malorum. So what is this practice? The Latin phrase premeditatio malorum means the premeditation of evils. It is the deliberate, intentional practice of imagining things going wrong in your life. Now, I know what you are thinking. That sounds morbid. It sounds like a recipe for anxiety, not a cure for it. But that is only because we're looking at it through our modern lens. For the Stoics, this was the key to mental toughness. Seneca wrote, "What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster." He argued that the shock of a surprise attack is often worse than the attack itself. By thinking about potential misfortunes in advance, things like exile, illness, or financial ruin, Stoic was not trying to make them happen. They were rehearsing. They were running a fire drill for the soul. Think about it. We do this in every other part of our lives. Pilot spends hundreds of hours in a flight simulator practicing how to handle an engine failure. A boxer spars for weeks to prepare for the chaos of a real fight. A city creates an emergency plan for a hurricane. We see this as smart and responsible. The Stoics just applied that exact same logic to the emotional challenges of being human. This whole practice is built on the most fundamental idea in Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus, a man who was born a slave and became a legendary teacher, taught that some things are up to us and others are not. What is in our control? Our choices, our responses, our opinions. What is not in our control? Our bodies, our reputation, our money, and what other people do. The Stoics said that almost all of our anxiety comes from trying to control things we cannot, while forgetting to manage the one thing we can, our own mind. Premeditatio malorum is the ultimate training ground for this idea. When you visualize something negative, like getting laid off from your job, you are facing an external event that is largely out of your control. You cannot control your company's finances. But by visualizing it beforehand, you can start practicing what is in your control, your response. You can think through the steps you would take. You can prepare for the emotional hit. You can plan your next move. As Seneca would say, the wise person knows that anything is possible. They do not just hope for the best and leave it at that. They are prepared for the worst. Their confidence does not come from a belief that they will never fall. It comes from the deep knowledge that, fall, they will know how to get back up. This is not about creating negativity. It is about engineering resilience. It is the art of turning fear into your greatest tool. Three, the psychological power of visualizing failure. So why does this ancient practice actually work so well? It turns out modern psychology is just now catching up to what the Stoics knew 2,000 years ago. The benefits of this counterintuitive habit are profound. First, and this is a big one, it destroys vague anxiety. Our minds are terrible at dealing with undefined threats. That fear of, what if something bad happens, is a shapeless, shadowy monster, and it can be absolutely terrifying. First, premeditatio malorum forces you to turn on the lights. It makes you define the something bad. Instead of a fuzzy worry about a project failing, you visualize it in detail. The awkward presentation, the disappointed client, the tough conversation with your boss. And when you do this, funny thing happens. The monster shrinks. By giving your fear a specific shape, you turn it from a paralyzing dread into a concrete problem, and problems have solutions. You start to realize that even the worst-case scenario is almost always survivable. Your world does not end. Life goes on. Second, it builds psychological resilience. Think of this practice as a kind of mental vaccine. A vaccine introduces a tiny, weakened version of a virus to trigger an immune response. Negative visualization introduces a simulated version of adversity to trigger a psychological one. Every time you calmly think about loss or failure, you build a small callus on your mind. You are practicing voluntary discomfort. By repeatedly facing these ideas in a controlled way, you reduce their power to shock and overwhelm you in real life. Stoic confidence is not, I will succeed. It is, I will be okay, even if I fail. This practice is what gets you to that deep, unshakable sense of okay. Third, it drives you to take action. This is where negative visualization proves it is an intensely practical tool, not just some morbid daydream. When you visualize a bad outcome, you do not just see the end result. You start to see the path that leads there. If you imagine your business failing, you might pinpoint the reasons. Maybe poor cash flow, a weak marketing plan, or not paying enough attention to customers. That detailed picture does not lead to despair. It leads to a to-do list. Now you can build up a cash reserve. You can work on your marketing. You can create a system to follow up with clients. You go from the passive state of worrying to the active state of preparing. As Seneca wrote, a wise person always considers that something could block their plans. By thinking about what could block your plans, you put yourself in the best possible position to make sure they are not blocked. And finally, and this is the most beautiful part, it creates profound gratitude. This is the secret gift of premeditatio malorum. After you spend 10 minutes vividly imagining that you have lost your job, or that a relationship has ended, or that your health has failed, you then open your eyes, and you realize, with this sudden breathtaking clarity, that none of it has happened. Your job is still there. The person you love is still with you. Your body is still working. The feeling that washes over you is not just relief. It is a deep, powerful gratitude for this very moment. The things you took for granted just minutes before are suddenly revealed to be precious, fragile gifts. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius was constantly reminding himself to focus on the present. Negative visualization is a powerful way to pull your mind back from worrying about the future and anchor it in a deep appreciation for what you have right here, right now. Before we get into exactly how you can start using this powerful technique, I am curious. Have you ever felt that all the pressure to think positive has actually made you feel worse? Let me know your experience in the comments below. It is an important conversation, and sharing your story might really help someone else feel less alone. 4. A practical guide to premeditatio malorum. All right, so understanding the philosophy is one thing, but putting it into practice is where the magic happens. Premeditatio malorum is not complicated, but it is intentional. Think of it as a workout for your resilience. Here is a simple 4-step guide to start using this in your own life. Step 1. Choose your fear and start small. When you first start, please do not jump into visualizing your biggest existential dread. That is like trying to bench press 300 pounds on your first day at the gym. You have to build the muscle first. Start with a small, manageable anxiety. Maybe it is the fear of being late for a meeting, messing up your words in a conversation, or getting a critical email from your boss. Just pick one specific, near-term fear to work with. Step 2. Visualize the negative outcome in vivid detail. Set aside 5 or 10 minutes where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes. Now, do not just think the thought, what if the meeting goes badly? I want you to live it in your mind. Walk yourself through it, moment by moment. Or in your car, stuck in traffic that is not moving, you watch the clock on your dashboard tick past the meeting start time. Feel that knot of anxiety tightening in your stomach. Imagine walking into the room 20 minutes late. See the faces turn to you, some annoyed, some feeling sorry for you. You start your presentation, but you are flustered. You forget a key statistic. Your laptop will not connect to the projector. You cannot find the right file. Feel the heat of embarrassment crawling up your neck. Imagine the awkward silence when you finish. The key here is not to wallow in the feeling, but to observe it. Acknowledge the embarrassment without letting it take over. Then follow the scenario to its end. What happens next? You pack up your laptop. You walk back to your desk. People move on. The world does not end. Your life continues. Step 3. Analyze and strategize. Once you have faced the worst in your mind, open your eyes and grab a notebook. This is the critical step where you turn fear into preparation. Ask yourself 2 incredibly powerful questions. First, what can I do right now to help prevent this from happening? For our example, the answers might be, I will leave 30 minutes earlier than I think I need to. We'll check the traffic before I leave. I will have a backup of my presentation on a USB stick and in the cloud. I will practice my opening until I can say it in my sleep. This is proactive problem solving. Second, if the worst case scenario does happen, how would I get through it and recover? The answer here might be, I would message ahead to let them know I am stuck. I would start with a calm, brief apology for the delay. I would follow up with an email to everyone with the full slide deck. I would remind myself that one bad meeting does not define my entire career, and I would focus on crushing the next one. This is how you build real confidence in your ability to handle anything. Step 4. Return to the present with gratitude. This final step is so important. After thinking about what could go wrong, consciously bring your mind back to right here, right now. Acknowledge that the disaster you just pictured has not happened. The meeting is still a week away. You have time to prepare. You are in control of your actions. Feel that sense of calm and appreciation that comes with this realization. You have just taken a vague fear, faced it, disarmed it, and used it to become stronger. You have turned anxiety into fuel. This simple act of returning to the present is what grounds the whole practice in empowerment, not dread. Conclusion. For so long, we have been taught to be afraid of our own fears, to run from negative thoughts, and hide from the idea of failure. But the Stoics offer us a radical, liberating alternative. True, invincible confidence is not born from the delusion that we will never face hard times. It is forged in the calm, deliberate, and courageous act of considering them. Premeditatio malorum is not a morbid obsession with what could go wrong. It is a deeply practical and empowering tool for building your resilience, making you prepared, and helping you feel profound gratitude for the life you have right now. It is the understanding that by visualizing your failure, you are not cursing your future, you are just building a stronger ship, ready for any storm. The Stoic does not pray for a lighter burden. They train for a stronger back. By looking your fears in the eye, you are not inviting them over for dinner. You are just letting them know that if they do show up, you will be ready. If this ancient wisdom for our modern world resonated with you, and you want to keep exploring these powerful ideas, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you do not miss what is next. Please give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow and helps other people find their way to a more resilient life. Thank you for watching.